Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Today Baba talks about knowledge, and Baba says that I am knowledgeful and I make you knowledgeful. And when the 7 qualities of the soul are discussed, then it is knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, and power. And we understand that knowledge is an ingredient of the soul, and then we lose it. We lose the knowledge, and then because of the loss of knowledge, we come into low consciousness. Yes, and then our own mind, intellect, and sanskars, they work against us. They start, disobeying the weak king. So the king grows weak because the king loses the knowledge, the purity, the peace, the love that the king was capable of. And then the subjects, the man, buddhi, and sanskars, they no longer obey us. So that starts happening. And then, in the world today, everybody understands that I want to be a master of my mind, or I want to have concentration and willpower, which is an aspect of the buddhi, or I want my elevated sanskars to always, come up at my order. They should be available whenever I want them to come up. But the thing is, when the master is weak, however much you try to train the subjects, they are not listening. So Baba says, this is why when I come, the first thing that I focus on is giving you knowledge and making you pure, and then making you loveful and peaceful and all of that, of course. But then Baba says the first thing is knowledge. And then Baba says, when you know, then you are able to, with that capacity of knowledge, you are able to train you're able to, direct your man and buddhi towards where it needs to be directed right now. And this thing that if you know better, you do better is very important. And today Baba says that because you know the time, so Baba has given us the knowledge of the self, the knowledge of Baba, and then very important is the knowledge of time. And in the world, I remember when there was that serial Mahabharat which used to get telecast. So in the beginning of that television serial, they used to have a cycle rotating, a globe rotating, and then it used to say "Main samay hoon," so I am the time. And from that time itself, I used to wonder, what is this time? And why is time so, why is time talking? And it was very beautiful. It stayed in our buddhi that, time is talking and time is narrating everything. And then we have expressions like the call of time. So you always say, Samay ki pukar, yes, call of time. So that is also a very important thing to remember. So time and the knowledge of time is a very important factor, and Baba gives us the knowledge of time and makes us realize the call of time. So, Baba has given us the knowledge of time, that there is a time to rule, there is a time to, fall, and then this is the time to rise, and this is the time to go back. And when time dictates, man has to listen. And you see that when COVID came and it was time to practice social distancing, then even if people believed in so much of attachment, and they believed that it is impossible to even imagine that one of your loved one is lying ill and you don't, you're not near them. So if you just, even today when you imagine it, although it has been and gone, it's very difficult to imagine that somebody who you are so dearly attached to is suffering and they are in pain, and then you stay away and you observe social distancing. But then that happened because that was the call of time. And then Baba says that when you understand the call of time, then you understand that when time calls out for you to do something, you have to do it. And then the most impossible of actions, the most difficult of practices look very simple because they are dictated by time. And until and unless you understand time, it's very difficult to understand the call of time. And you see that Baba's knowledge about what we need to do in this Brahmin life is the call of time. So Baba is not talking about, so whatever Baba is giving Shrimat about, so the whole of Baba's Shrimat is related to time. You cannot separate Baba's Shrimat and time. Yes. And so this is the time for, this is the end of the cycle, and this is the time to go back, and this is the time to prepare to come to Satyug. So Baba's Shrimat is in accordance with the time. And until and unless somebody gets that it's time, it's very difficult to understand the relevance of Shrimat. Yes, so that's why Baba today says that this is an eternal cycle of drama, and you explain this to everybody. So in the Murli today, Baba is repeatedly telling us that you have to teach the principal and the government officers and this one and that one the history and geography, because the history and geography, if they don't understand, then they don't understand what time it is, and they don't understand the call of time. So, and I will, so this is why the relevance of the knowledge of time, the knowledge of what time it is in the time cycle, the knowledge of where we come from, where we have to go back, and what time is coming is very, very important. Now, do you understand the time? So, there is a very beautiful song, Baba's song, Sanj Ho Gayi Srishti Chakra Ki. So, the Srishti Chakra is coming to an end. And that's a very relevant song because that's a song about the call of time. And Baba says that until and unless you give the knowledge of the time cycle, you educate people about what time it is, then it becomes very difficult for them to understand the Shrimat, because Shrimat is according to the time. Yes, and there is a very beautiful saying, when the why is clear, the how is easy. So, time tells you, the knowledge of the time cycle tells you the why. And when you understand the why, then you understand the how. Because when the why is not clear, you keep questioning how can I do this? This is difficult. This is impossible. But when you know that that's the only right thing to do at this time, then you anyways do it. And this question is so important, and I always wonder at the timing of drama. And yesterday I was conducting this course for Baba's children who have come to Baba's place for the first time. And then there was this one brother, and I was teaching about detachment. So I was just saying that, we should have detachment from the body and relationships and work and things around us. And then there was this one person who came up after the session, and he told me, Didi, when I was listening to the session today, I felt okay. I should be detached from the body, or I should be detached from things, and I should be detached from work and money. But I don't think I should be detached from people, from relationships. And I didn't like the session because I felt you are asking us to be detached from people around you. And then I don't think that's a good idea, because attachment is so important. How do we exist together if we are not attached? And then you see, so this is, and when I was reading today's Murli, I felt very nice that Baba is saying that, when you listen to, you should be detached from the work you do, or from the people you live with, or your relationships, or people you are very attached to. It really hurts, because we have been groomed, and we have been taught, and we have been conditioned into so much attachment. And then you don't like, and we are so attached to this idea of attachment that, this other day there was this lady, and she said that my spouse is not giving me, not paying attention to the house, and I suspect that he has a relationship somewhere. And then he's she said that I found some evidences also, and this and that. And then I said, then why didn't you talk to him? So she said, no, I don't want the relationship to get bitter, because if I speak, the relationship will get bitter. So, we are so, so I don't know whether it is attachment, or we just like this culture of attachment. We like this idea that we are one family and we are together, and we don't want this idea to go away. Sometimes, people are even paying the price to close their eyes to reality, to just maintain this idea of attachment. You just want to believe that your wife is your wife, and your husband is your husband, and your children are your children, even when they are not behaving like one. So you just want to nourish and nurture that idea, because we are so much in love with this idea of attachment. And then Baba comes and says that, detach. Baba says, just lift your buddhi from people, places, things, body, everything. And then it hurts. We don't like, and I don't know where, it hurts very deeply, and you just don't want to give up that idea of attachment. You just don't want to. So, you come alone, you go alone, you live alone, but you just want to believe that you're not alone. And that is that is something very interesting about humanity today. And then Baba today says that, my dear children, you have to detach, detach from the body, detach from people around you, detach from things and the work you do, because you have to go. because it is time to go. And when you understand that it is time to go, so you don't have to detach because people around you are bad. Do you have to detach because of that? Maybe you have everything going right. Maybe your work is going great. Maybe it's not even giving you any sorrow. It's giving you a lot of happiness. But Baba says you still have to detach because it is time to go. And when it is time to go, you have to go. And when we have to go, we cannot take anything with us. I cannot take the body with me. I cannot take the ones I'm attached to. And sometimes when we do the right thing for the right reason, and when we do the right thing for the wrong reason, there is a lot of difference in the two acts. And even when we become a Brahmin, sometimes we do the right thing, we are detaching, but maybe for the wrong reason. Maybe I don't like the person I'm with, so I'm detaching. Maybe I don't like the situation I am in, so I'm detaching. But that's not the right reason. You have to detach from the good and the bad. You have to detach from the favorable and the unfavorable. You have to detach from the fair and the unfair. You have to detach from that which is giving you happiness and that which is giving you sorrow. You have to detach from everyone and everything because you have to go. And when you go, you cannot take anything with you, anyone with you, not even the body. So this is why Baba says, detach from the body, detach from everything, everyone around you. And what is detachment? Detachment is having an objective approach. That's it. You just know that, everyone is there, everything is there, but they are not mine. And that's a knowing. It has no, I don't think it has any physical implications. It only has emotional implications. So you continue to do whatever part you have to play, you play that part. And I think our part grows bigger only, it doesn't get squeezed. So it's not like earlier you used to serve 2 people, now you serve 200. It's not like you stop serving those 2 people. So you obviously keep playing your part, but then this deep knowing that I have to go, this makes you detach from whatever you are doing, wherever you are, whoever you are with, or your body. Even if your body is great or your body is miserable, you detach from both. And it's not because it is painful, it is because it is time to go. And when you do the right thing for the right reason, you feel right. And when you do the right thing for the wrong reason, it becomes very difficult. Even if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing it for the wrong reason. So let's take a scenario where my body is unwell and I'm trying to detach from the body because it is a source of pain. Then it will be very difficult because the pain will pull me. But if I understand that I have to detach from the body because I am a soul and I have to go home, then even if the body is in acute pain, detaching from the body will be very easy. So this is why Baba today is very nicely explaining that, so Baba has given us the Srimad to detach our man and buddhi from the old world. But only those children who understand the call of time will be able to do that. And this is why Baba always asks us to churn the Swadershan Chakra. Keep reminding ourselves of the time cycle, and where am I in the time cycle right now. So I've been in Satyug, I've done bhakti, now I'm with Baba, and this is the time to go. And the more and more you rotate the time cycle in your buddhi, the more you get that it's time to go. And then detachment becomes very, very natural. Because once you understand time and you are in harmony with time, then time is a force. It gives you the capacity to do many things. Have you understood the force of time? So have you understood that when it's time to submit an assignment, you work like, there are some special powers that emerge inside you, and then you are able to finish that assignment because the clock is telling you that it is time. So time is a very big force. It brings out capacities inside us which we are never capable of. But this time that Baba is talking about is not the clock time, it's the time of the unlimited clock. And the more you understand it, and the more you tune your intellect with it, it makes you very spiritually powerful, and it makes you very capable of following the Shrimad that Baba is giving. So this is something that Baba tells us, that when you understand that now I have to go, and where do I have to go? In the world where there is no sound, no thought. Yes, so I have to, when I understand that I have to go there, then preparing for that world, it becomes very easy. And preparing for that world means doing away with all the chatter, all the noise, all the thoughts of the old world, and all the waste thoughts and negativity of the whole world, so that we can move to that world where there is no such existence of waste and no chatter, no noise. So Baba says, understand that. And then Baba says that don't give any sorrow. Yes, because you are learning and preparing to go to a world of constant happiness. Yes, so that's also understanding the aim. So in Hindi it is called Lakshya se Lakshan aate hain. So when your aim is clear, then the qualities or the qualifications that you need to attain that aim become very easy to acquire. So Baba says that because you have to go to that world where there is constant happiness, then you have to stop giving sorrow. Okay, you have to stop giving sorrow. And Baba says that the one who gives sorrow receives sorrow. Do you understand that? Do you understand that the one who gives sorrow receives sorrow? And if I give sorrow, I will receive sorrow. Then how will I go to that world of happiness? Yes, and there is this Mata, and she is in Gyan, and she told me something very interesting. She told me that earlier I and my husband used to fight for many reasons. Now we fight for my purity. But we fight. She said, Didi, earlier I used to fight why he is coming late, why he is leaving early, why he is eating this, not eating that. We had several reasons for fighting. So we fought earlier, now I am in Gyan, now also we fight. Now the reason is I want to stay pure, I want to do Amrit Vela, I want to observe, I take pure food. So he is not able to go on trips with me and this and that we fight because of that. So then she said, Didi, what is the difference? We were fighting earlier, we are fighting now. So then what is the difference? We are anyways fighting. So I thought that when I come into Gyan, my life will be peaceful and happier, and the household will be a happy household. So grihast ashram you people talk about, and then what is the point? We are always fighting. So then I told her that, you see, you are not fighting for purity. You are fighting because you have a sanskar of fighting. Because purity is not about fighting. And in yesterday's Murli, Baba said, for satyata you need sabhyata. I don't know how that is translated in English because I have not read yesterday's English Murli. So, satyata requires sabhyata. When you are trying to prove that which is not true, then you use force, you get angry, you bang the table, you shout, you scream. Yes, you are adamant. But if you use the same method to prove knowledge and purity, then there is something wrong with you. So, and Baba has given us a very beautiful, beautiful teaching that truth reveals itself. But the thing is, you shouldn't be in a hurry to prove the truth. And you should hold on to truth. When you hold on to truth very gently, very consistently, then truth reveals itself. And every soul is a base. So every soul is Baba's child, right? Every soul has some essence of truth in them. So that the truth that you're holding in your life, that you're imbibing in your life, will make them, will stir that truth inside them. But for that, you have to be very gentle, and you just have to hold on to your truth very consistently. You don't have to be in a hurry that the other person should accept and that you should prove that you are right. That hurry spoils everything. Truth has a method of revealing itself. But why don't we have the patience? And for everything that is going to reveal itself, you need patience. You need to wait until it reveals itself. But where is the patience? So Baba's children have no patience. And they are in a hurry to, prove that, impurity is wrong, purity is right. Purity is pure. Purity is not right. Purity doesn't need to be proved. Purity is so pure that nobody can deny the fragrance of purity. But you have to cultivate that fragrance of purity until it reveals itself. But we don't go into the cultivation of the fragrance of purity. We go into the proving that purity is right. That's not the method. You be pure. And purity is tan, man and dhan, both, all the three. It is not just physical, it is here also. So if impurity inside, how will purity reveal itself? Then you keep fighting. You keep fighting earlier, you keep fighting later, and then what grihasthashram? No grihasthashram. So there is no need to fight. I told that sister, you are not fighting for purity. You are fighting because you fight. That's all you know. Nobody fights for purity, and purity doesn't need any fighting. Yes, purity is beauty, purity is pure, purity is very attractive. And if you're pure, you're so attractive, nobody can ignore you. You know, there is this expression, you may love me, you may hate me, but you can't ignore me. And you know, when somebody, and it's beautiful that when you can't be ignored, then the other person thinks about you. And when they think about you, then you start influencing them. Even if they think they don't like you, but your purity is so attractive that they think about you. They can't ignore you. And when they think about the pure, they become pure. So that's the arrangement. But you be pure. Don't try to establish the rightness of purity. So Baba says, you don't have to give any sorrow. You don't have to be loud. You don't have to be aggressive. You just have to be consistent, and you have to be, assertive to yourself. Because, consistency in being knowledgeful or pure in this impure world is a matter of asserting to yourself your own nature and your own essence of being every day. So you don't even have to assert to others. In the face of others, you have to assert to yourself. In the face of all the challenges, because there'll be drishti, and there'll be talk, and there'll be opinions, and within all of that, you just have to keep asserting to yourself that Baba is the truth, and I am following Shrimat, I am on the path of truth, and whatever I am doing is right. You keep asserting that to yourself, and keep cleansing, whatever influences of the external come within you. And when you are able to maintain that consistent state of purity, then that purity will reveal itself to others. Yes, so that is the method. And so Baba says, you don't have to give sorrow to anybody, come what may. You don't have to fight, you don't have to quarrel, you don't have to raise your voice. Yes, but you have to be very firm in what you know and what Baba has told you, and keep asserting that to yourself. Yes, and I have seen a situation where I never said anything and the other person spoke a lot. And then that person said, this person is wrong, this person is wrong. And the person who was deciding the whole thing said, when that person is wrong, why doesn't that person prove? And I don't think that somebody is wrong and they won't prove. So the tendency to prove proves that you're wrong. The tendency to prove comes from, that thing that you're wrong inside. And what is wrong when you're trying to prove? So, you believe there is an internal mechanism that makes you believe that when you're not following the social norms, it is wrong. That's why you're trying to prove. But when you are sure within that the social norms are human dictates, and what I am following is Baba's dictates, and that is right, then you will not feel the urge to prove. That urge to prove comes from a place where you on the inside feel that I am doing something wrong. So you have to work on that. Because there is always a war where inside there is this feeling that when I'm not doing something that is socially expected of me, then that is wrong. But you have to dissolve that feeling by asserting that Baba's Srimat is true and human dictates are false. And when you are able to do that, then you will be free from the urge to prove something. Okay, so this is what Baba says. You don't have to cause sorrow at any time, because you are going to a world of constant happiness. That is the inheritance you are seeking. And when you are seeking that inheritance, then you must know the law that one who gives sorrow dies in sorrow. Baba says, dukh denge to dukhi hokar marenge. And we, under no circumstances, Baba's children give sorrow. And then Baba today says that when there is feeling of lack of attainment inside, then you get tired. So, tiredness, this is a very interesting and it's a very, I had never thought like this, this is a very surprising thing that Baba tells today. This is a very new thing. So Baba says, when you have this feeling that I don't have enough, then that makes you tired. Yes, and if you check it inside, you see that yes, that's true. So when there is this feeling inside that I don't have enough, then tiredness, you don't ever take. When do you get tired? When you're giving, when you're doing, right? Now, somebody who feels I don't have enough will always have trouble giving and doing. Because you are giving what you don't have. But if you have enough, if you have that feeling, and in yesterday's Murli, Baba said that somebody who is internally full always has this feeling that I'm full, despite, even if there is not much outside or not much on the external available to that person, internal fullness makes you feel full. And when you are full inside, there's this experience that I have Baba and Baba is giving me everything, then that experience makes giving very easy, makes doing very easy. But when you don't have that experience of attainment and fullness inside, then every little act of giving or doing will make you tired, because you are giving out of the empty, and then you feel emptier and more tired. But if you have this deep feeling inside that I'm full, I'm brimming with everything, I have too much knowledge, too much love, too much purity inside, too much power inside Baba has given me. So then giving will always feel like an, what do you say? It will look like a natural consequence of that. It will not look like something that you have to make effort for. And that's why you don't get tired. Yes, and then, sometimes some people ask me, how do you conduct so many classes in a day? And I say, I think 10 times. So, see, Baba speaks 20 times what I speak in the class. And I speak 10 times of what I think about, or churn over 10 times of what I speak in the class. So then when I sit in the class, it is not an effort. Because I am churning over the ocean of knowledge. So when the ocean of knowledge is available, then it is never effort making, it is never tiring. So Baba says, when you take from the ocean and you feel full, you are never tired in giving, whether it is knowledge or peace or love or happiness or cooperation or any of the other things, the powers or the virtues. But when there is no fullness inside, everything becomes an effort. Okay, Om Shanti.